Arsenal are now on maximum alert. While an injury crisis removes 3 key stars from training ahead of the clash against Sunderland, Arteta has authorized a potential $113 million investment in 2 South American players, and Sandro Tonali's agent has just confirmed meetings with the club. The leadership is under threat. Here's everything you need to know now. Arsenal head into the Sunderland match under pressure, facing an injury crisis that directly threatens their position at the top of the table. According to reports from Sports Illustrated, Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard remain doubts and could once again miss out at the most delicate moment of the season. Saka has already missed the last 2 games after suffering a muscle issue during the warm-up against Leeds, and uncertainty surrounding the severity of the injury continues to grow behind the scenes at the Emirates. The concern is increasing because the team risks losing not only individual quality, but also attacking balance at a stage where every single point could define the title race. With no guarantees regarding Odegaard's condition, as he remains under evaluation after missing the match against Chelsea, Mikel Arteta has been forced to test alternatives. The expectation is that Kai Havertz will take on the playmaking role, moving into the number 10 position, a change that alters the team's attacking dynamics. On the right wing, responsibility is likely to fall on Noni Madueke, who gained confidence after a strong recent performance and may now be tasked with replacing Arsenal's main attacking outlet. The decision shows that Arteta intends to maintain an aggressive approach despite the absences, trusting players who have responded when called upon. In attack, another possible change stands out. Gabriel Jesus, in strong form after scoring 3 goals in his last 4 appearances, is emerging as the favorite to start, which could see Viktor Gyökeres begin on the bench. The choice would indicate an attempt to maintain mobility and high pressing in the final third, compensating for the lack of creativity caused by injuries. However, the biggest concern emerged in the last few hours. Jurrien Timber did not take part in Thursday's training session, raising a new warning sign inside the club. Although the coaching staff still hopes to have the defender available, his absence increases uncertainty around his participation. If Timber is unavailable, Ben White may be forced to shift to right back, despite not being at full fitness, potentially leaving Arsenal with an improvised defensive setup. With Saka, Odegaard, and now Timber surrounded by doubts, Arsenal face Sunderland trying to protect their lead under maximum pressure. Arteta's side knows that a victory could extend their advantage at the top, but also that any new physical setback could completely change the outlook for the coming weeks. At the same time, Arsenal have returned to the transfer market, and this time the focus is on Brazil. According to recent reports, the London club has opened preliminary talks to sign Breno Bidon, the young Corinthians midfielder who has been attracting attention across South America and is already viewed by scouts as one of Brazil's most promising talents of the new generation. The move is part of a broader plan from Mikel Arteta to strengthen the squad not only for the current season, but also to build a competitive midfield for the coming years. Bidon, only 20 years old, has stood out for his intensity off the ball, recovery ability, and composure in build-up play, qualities that perfectly fit the profile Arsenal have been searching for. European clubs, including Chelsea, have monitored the player for months, but behind the scenes the feeling is clear. Arsenal have been smarter and more decisive in the market. While their London rivals observed and evaluated, Arteta's club moved forward in negotiations, timing their approach better and positioning themselves ahead in the race. The player's release clause is believed to be around €100 million, but reports suggest Corinthians would be open to negotiating for a significantly lower fee, potentially turning the deal into what many inside the club view as an extremely intelligent piece of business. The Brazilian's arrival, however, would not be an isolated move. Arsenal are working on a much bigger investment aimed at elevating the team's attacking level, and the main target emerging is Argentine forward Julian Alvarez, currently at Atletico Madrid. And this is where the scale of the plan becomes clear. Arsenal are reportedly willing to invest around €100 million for the World Cup winner, a figure that makes the club's ambition impossible to ignore.
This is not just about adding depth to the squad, but about sending a direct message to the rest of Europe. Financially, the scenario also favors Arsenal. While other European giants remain interested, Barcelona, considered one of the players' preferred destinations, continues to face economic limitations that make an immediate move difficult. That leaves Arsenal in a position to act decisively, putting the money on the table and attempting to turn the opportunity into a statement signing during this window. If the plan materializes, the combination of youth and potential with Bidon and the decisive experience of Julian Alvarez would represent a major step forward in Arteta's project. Arsenal would move from simply competing for the Premier League title to reinforcing their ambition of establishing themselves among Europe's elite, transforming transfer activity into a clear declaration of intent.
And Arsenal's movement in the market does not stop there. The club has once again moved to the center of transfer speculation, this time with Sandro Tonali. The story gained momentum after the player's agent, Giuseppe Riso, confirmed that discussions regarding the midfielder's future are scheduled to take place. The statement given to Tuttosport completely changed the narrative. This is no longer simple speculation. Arsenal are genuinely being considered as a real destination for next summer, placing the club on high alert. Rumors had already existed since the end of the last transfer window, when Arsenal were searching for urgent midfield solutions following injury problems. Now, new details suggest there was concrete movement behind the scenes. Football London reported that Arsenal made a late attempt in January to replace the injured Mikel Merino. The deal did not progress at the time, mainly because Newcastle could not afford to lose such an important player while fighting for a Champions League place. Even so, the initial contact left the door open, and the agent made it clear that the situation will be reassessed in the summer, without ruling out Arsenal's interest at any stage. Another factor that could work in Arsenal's favor is the internal connection within the squad. Riccardo Calafiori, Tonali's international teammate, knows the midfielder's style well and is believed to have given extremely positive feedback to Mikel Arteta. Behind the scenes, there's a growing sense that Arsenal are once again trying to act intelligently, preparing the ground before the official battle begins, while Juventus and Barcelona continue to evaluate their financial options. But the element that turns this story into a true market bomb is the price involved. Newcastle have already made their position clear. Any negotiation would start at £100 million, a massive figure that changes the entire scale of the operation and highlights the level of commitment required. At the same time, Arsenal are closely monitoring Newcastle's financial situation, as sustainability rules could eventually force the club to consider major sales to balance their accounts in the coming months. If the move progresses, Tonali would arrive to form an elite midfield partnership alongside Declan Rice, raising both the technical and physical level of Arteta's team. His potential arrival would also spark internal debates about the future roles of other midfield players, showing that Arsenal are not only thinking about reinforcement, but about redefining the balance of the squad for the next cycle. With the agent already signaling that the summer will be decisive, the saga is officially underway, and the next chapter could completely reshape the future of Arsenal's midfield. Thank you very much for watching until the end. See you next time.